photo shoot experience that you and I had come a distance, but then I walk in today with shorts and sandals, and you're like, this guy, what a jerk.
You had a ski cap on too.
Well,
Like
your heat leaves through your head, so I had a hat on.
You looked so ridiculous that I didn't even thank you for you were holding the door for me as I walked in. You were on your way out, and I was on my way in, and you held the door, and I just said, you look ridiculous.
Well, that,
instead
you're
of
entitled.
instead of thank you.
Whatever. You're entitled. We're in the 50s today. I don't know. Shorts.
Yeah.
Felt right.
Our guest has got to hear about this photo shoot. We talked about it yesterday, but Nick,
Nick has got to have tons of photo shoot experience.
What we went through yesterday. I mean, it was fine. It was great. But
great even.
It was the first time we'd ever been like handled that way. You know what I mean? Like this was a studio with different backdrops, different places. The guys standing on the ladders, right? All kinds of stuff. And at one point, he tells us to face one another, and we were nose to nose like boxers at a news conference. It was just the weirdest thing it was really strange. Nick Bakay on the Western Hotline. Hi, buddy. How are you?
I'm great, fellas. Yeah, I've had a few of those, and it's very hard not to be self-conscious. And my favorite one is many years ago when I was the voice of the talking cat on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They did a photo shoot of me holding one of our live Sabrina cats, and that was my publicity shot for that show. And somewhere in my archives, probably used to be nestled close to Bulldog's whammy weenie,
so to speak.
So to speak. Those were the days, Chris. I miss you. There is a proof sheet of me holding this cat, and you'll get them too. These proof sheets have, they take about 150 shots of you doing the same thing, and you're supposed to pick one. But what's great is, in order to get the cat's focus on the same spot as mine, the trainer had this sort of extended spoon on a stick that it had a beeper attached to it, and on the stick they would put tuna to make sure the cat was fully focused where you wanted it.
That's awesome.
So all these photo shoots where they beep, 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 tuna spoon, look at the tuna spoon. And there are shots in that proof sheet of where the tuna spoon broke the frame of the picture, and you have both the cat and me mesmerized by the premise of a bite of tuna. And those are the best ones.
Tuna spoon on a stick is great.
Right? That should be the name of my fantasy.
I was just going to say that. Too late for this year, but tuna spoons I'm writing it down for next year.
Is great.
Love that.
Oh, man.
Bulldog was a little bit too close to my whammy weenie yesterday if we're really talking like adults.
Yeah, it was not.
Yeah, really. How short were those shorts?
Back up.
He didn't have
Three
shorts on
words, back
yesterday.
up.
He wore pants for the
That's
photo.
yesterday.
Was
Well, it wasn't-
wearing those wham wake me up before you go shorts.
Like, it wasn't 56 yesterday. I mean, I'm a grown up.
So what's cracking, man? Like, what is cooking? I was really, really bummed out. We talked to you before both seasons of the HBO Max venture, the bookie. And
yeah.
I don't know. Did I come out there and talk to somebody? You need a heavy? I mean,
I wish you would.
You probably know
heavier
than me, but I mean, I just what did they do you dirty there?
Maybe you can make a case. Look, if we've been a sort of overwhelming success, I don't think they have a choice in such matters. So there's that in their defense. But we weren't not successful, and I know that, I feel like the show was extremely successful in terms of the premise and what we did, and we had great actors and all that. I don't think we were ever their favorite, for a variety of reasons. So, I think we needed to be that slam dunk, or else we were not going to be long for this world. But, the fact is, too, it's a strange new world in terms of shows' lifespans, and bottom line, the fact that we got to do 2 seasons of it, I remain incredibly grateful about, because I loved every minute of it. And I think it was maybe of all the things I've worked on as a writer. I think it's maybe the closest to my voice and my what I would be doing if left to my own devices, which one never is. So it was a privilege. And I have nothing but gratitude. I really do.
I don't think we ever got a chance to connect after we talked to you before season 2 premiered. And I don't remember which episode it was, but Ray Romano on his daughter's bike, Nick, was friggin' gold. I mean, that was just so good. Like
Nice.
his character on the show, like owes the bookie money, and he rides to try to pay the debt or explain why he can't pay the debt on his daughter's Huffy, and it's just it's the best.
Is there a basket on the bike in the front of the bike?
There is a basket and a bell, and both
A bell.
Yeah.
Love it.
It was such a good bit, man. Really good.
What's next, Nick? What do you want to do, or what are you doing that's the next thing for you?
Well, I'm working right now. The writers are in, and I am show running, exec producing season 2 of Leanne Morgan's Netflix show, Leanne. And we're actually going to start shooting first week of January. So we've been in trying to fill the shelf with a few scripts to be ready. So that's where I'm at, full focus.
Did you have any interest in jumping onto that Bills Hallmark thing? Bulldog applied for a part. I don't know if you.
Oh, nice. You know what? I have to admit, I was. I think my people got contacted at one point about that, but nothing came of it. So I have no idea. And I have to confess, I haven't watched it. How did they? Hallmark is really not my domain.
No, or mine.
No, nor mine.
But then again, I never thought I'd be a talking cat, boys.
Right.
Life is full of curveballs.
Right. Yeah.
Furballs or curveballs?
They asked one of the producers or an assistant, whatever, reached out and said, here's what we have in mind, and I thought, okay, I'll send something in, and then I also did they didn't ask for it, but I did a riff in case they wanted to squeeze in a character getting in their car and the radio's on, because they were looking for someone to be like a stadium announcer, and that's not my domain at all. So I just sort of did this thing where I'm talking about the Bills and the Chiefs at Christmas or something. It was whatever. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I just sent it in, and I didn't get called. So anyway,
that's the outcome of, I would say, 99.9% of the auditions I've done my entire career. Silence.
Can maybe we take a minute on that? We just talked to Joe Ostrowski earlier, our friend from Bet Sweats, which wrapped today, and he's going on to his own venture after this. And there might be people listening to you, Nick, and have heard you on with us many times that, it's much safer to just not try and put your proverbial hat in the ring on things. But I don't know, what would you say? You probably in your business have to be prepared to get turned down a lot, or else what chance do you have? Is that not true?
No, that's absolutely true. I think, honestly, it's why I'm a writer primarily, is because I couldn't, I've had a nice career doing, on camera and voices and things like that. I've done a lot of stuff, but as your life progresses, it's one thing when you're in your 20s, and you should take a shot at everything. Your 20s should be all about rolling the dice. At least your 20s. Mine went well beyond that. But it's weird. The market tells you who you are. It's the same thing as, when you're here in LA auditioning right and left. At a certain point, you realize I see the same 5 guys waiting to read for everything I go in on. And then you realize, oh, that's my mirror. It's not always thrilling. But,
right.
The market slowly but surely told me, if you want to be an adult and make a living and have any kind of life, it's going to be writing, kid. Just acting was never sustainable enough to be on par with my ambitions for my life. That's that. I always say, go for it. You're going to have surprises along the way. You may end up in a career that isn't is either parallel to what you were targeting or removed, but in the same neighborhood. And you should always listen to what the world is encouraging. Flexibility, underrated in terms of tenacity.
Hollywood's Nick. We're going with Hollywood's Nick Bakay on the Western Hotline. Buffalo native.
Buffalo's Nick Bakay.
Buffalo's Nick Bakay. Huge Bills and Sabres fan. So let's segue into how you're enjoying the ride this season with the Bills, because it has been here. I've stopped saying it because we're almost to January, but like in early November, I thought we're not going to make it to January. The fan base, we're going to start eating each other.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I probably model what any diehard Bills fan went through this year. It's so unbelievably exciting right now. It's always exciting. As I've often said in conversations we've had, I'll trade an ultimately fall short season with Josh Allen and this era of Bills football over and I remember Dick Duran, so I'm grateful because it's so exciting. And I have really tried to train myself to just embrace the magic and not be all about results, but to be about the moment, which is never a dull moment with the Bills in this era. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, we are lucky enough to have the best player in the game right now, I believe.
Think about even just the last 2 weeks. Cincinnati's up. They're down 10 points in the fourth quarter of both games.
No, they weren't down 10 in the fourth quarter of this game against New England.
But they were down 21-0.
Yep,
earlier than that.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah, and those felt like the kind of games that we lose, and there is no surprise at the end. Both these wins were unbelievable. All of a sudden, I will say, we get so wrapped up in it emotionally that we don't necessarily remember patterns of how this organization rolls. But the Bills do tend to build momentum down the stretch and turn into a better team than you were looking at in October. And that is exactly what's happening. And, and interesting things like Kansas City not qualifying. Oh my God! Yeah. Listen, it's there. It's there. We're not perfect, but who is right now?
Yes, and in addition to that, I would say this is one thing that I don't know. I've thought of and also said to maybe make it feel better. The example of the Manning Colts that had, even almost undefeated seasons, but then would lose in the playoffs to one team. Usually New England, and then. One year they just didn't. That wasn't their best team, but they won it. So that premise, in addition to how even the AFC playoff field really does look, can make you optimistic, can make you feel good.
Absolutely. Certain teams have a profile that's worrisome, but it's always been the case. I used to always feel that way about the Ravens, and we've always done well with them in the playoffs. I always thought, there's our kryptonite, and it isn't the case. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Josh is a better playoff quarterback than Lamar is. But either way, listen, the hope meter is robust right now for all these reasons.
What's football like, or being a football fan like in L.A. right now? You've got two teams. I don't know if it's a cliche, but what you hear every time somebody's going out there is they'll have the crowd. Philadelphia went out there a couple of weeks ago to play the Chargers, and the Bills have been out there. Is that overstated? Is it really right? Maybe it's understated. I don't know. Like, you're there.
I think it's much more the case for Charger games because the Chargers relocated here, and there is no historical support. On the other hand, I've been to a number of Rams games in the last couple of years, and it is by our standards as Buffalo sports fans. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It's just like when the Sabres play the friggin' Leafs, and it's just an invasion. It's 50% whoever is on the road in L.A., at least 50%. But the Rams fans are passionate fans-ish.
Okay.
Football is just not the same animal here. in terms of the frenzy and the passion and the local identity. It'll never be. So, I don't think this place is not a home field advantage stadium. It just isn't. I mean, I don't think it's as bad as Vegas, but it's not good.
It's too nice.
Yeah, and this, it's just, I don't know, football's not in the blood here. It just isn't. That doesn't mean there aren't hardcore fans, and there's a lot of football played here, but it's just not I don't know, everything's dissipated. And, this is a city of so many relocated people, and that's part of it, too.
Nick, do you think about the stadium closing here, either whether that's, your last time here or your first time going to a game here? Like, this is it. It's just a little bit of a distraction in a sense with how this season is going to play out. Now it looks like they probably won't get home playoff games. We don't know that for sure. I would say before the season when we talked about this, it was almost assumed that they would.
At least one, yeah. Wow, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought about it in the playoff context. To go out in a playoff game would only be appropriate. But, listen, that stadium's old like I am, and I was there a million times. I was at Rockpile games, too.
Oh, wow.
And I love going to that stadium. I have too many great memories of it. So, and I obviously, having experienced SoFi, I know what these futuristic spaceship football stadiums are like. And I will tell you that it is not what we think of as, a Buffalo football game, but it's magnificent. It's going to be beautiful.
How would you characterize your Sabres fandom at this time? It's been a big week here. New GM, Kevin Adams is out. Kekalainen is in. Are you on fumes with them, or are you, waiting for 7:30 Eastern tonight?
I always watch, unless I can't because of work or schedule. But, I have been on fumes forever, like all Sabres fans. Doesn't stop me from following. Tonight is fascinating. I can't stop thinking about that Montreal game where the owner was there and gave a talk. I mean, listen, the night that the people who signed my checks are hanging around the set, I am on my game. I mean, that was the biggest. I mean, that if that isn't a sign that this team is irreparably passionless. If your paycheck is sitting there saying, hey, guys, give it a shot, I'm behind you, and then you go out and crap the bed to that extent, it makes tonight, for me, tonight is Montreal 2 Electric Boogaloo. Right. They can shake everything up, and they can do all this radical stuff, and everybody, oh, poor Kevin Adams, he signed me to an over-rich contract, But these guys doesn't manifest in any way with these asses. So, and I don't think I'm the only Sabre fan who feels that way. And I'm really like, look, are you guys going to step up tonight? And I won't buy it until I see it.
That's fair. They also just lost to this team, which is not a really good team, a couple of weeks ago, kind of badly. So it'd be nice if they looked like they were bothered by that or
did.
remember
and
that.
That was one of those. That was another 2-game win buster, right? Yeah. Look, I want to be wrong. I really do. But I suspect that tonight will be the perfect tee up for our new GM to do some radical things. If he can persuade anyone to take on our underperforming, overpaid excess.
You put it like that, I'm not sure I want him to win. We'll see. See what happens.
It's a Pyrrhic victory,
Yep.
You finally get a streak going, and it encourages more of this nonsense.
All right, so where on the horizon is this Netflix joint you were talking about a few minutes ago?
Leanne.
Yeah.
Leanne, the season 1 is there, as everything in Netflix is in perpetuity throughout the universe. So you can check season 1 out, and season 2, we haven't started shooting yet, so it's down the road. I'm not even sure we have an official launch date for that. But you can also see Leanne's stand-up specials, which are what made her a star. She's outstanding, and it's been a joy.
These are not Wham shorts. These are just perfectly normal, fashionable, golfable shorts. Which I'm sure, I'm not sure, but maybe you're wearing shorts being in L.A. I'm not going to put myself down any further. Nick Bakay with us.
That men over a certain age should ever be in shorts. So no, you'll never catch me.
Bulldog hates it. He thinks I'm a jerk.
I'm a Bulldog. He's right. He's right. Enough.
Wow. Enough with the shorts. All right. I respect you. Thank you, Nick. It's always a pleasure. Happy holidays.
Yeah, you too, guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.